Hello and welcome. Today we're going to do this little exercise with the tree as a main focus. This was taken on, let me just get comfortable first. That was taken on our local walk in our village. This is where we walk every day pretty much with Daisy the dog. And I love lots of oak trees around the village. They are so beautiful, strong, big trees. So one of them here. We have one of those oak trees in front of our house. I tell you what, I much prefer to see them somewhere else than my front garden, my drive, because they cause a little bit of a havoc with the trees, with the cars, and there's lots of maintenance with those trees. But it's nice to see them around. There's a lot of greenery. It's quite special, Denmead, where we live. So I thought I'm going to capture that. I quite like these shadows here. Not sure how I'm going to translate it. I have to confess, I did painting session yesterday, and I completely deleted all the footage because the picture was horrible. And you know, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but as long as you show up and you try, that's great. So well done me for showing up again, not giving up completely. And let's get going. I have a microphone on me today, so I don't have to shout to my camera too much. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm a little bit self-conscious about you guys hearing me breathe as well. So hopefully that's not going to be an issue. So I'm painting today. I quite like this paper, maybe because it's quite convenient size, A5. I just tear the page out, nice and easy, and it's very thick. I do put it on my Perspex little board. I have ordered that Perspex off eBay, and it's a good one to have. I also have this massive one where I can attach A3 size and put it on my kind of easel on the angle. That's very handy. But I really like that because I need to create white borders here. I need to keep that nice and steady. This is only like a picnic table here, so if I attach it here, I'm a little bit stuck. I cannot then take it and rotate if I want to. I can't take it and dry it. So it gives me complete freedom to having that attached. You can also like keep it on the block, but I always like to have those white borders. It's really something I really enjoy having. It's quite rewarding. So I think I'm going to give it a really light sketch just to start with. And I'm looking at the image, trying to kind of plan it out, but going super loose, super simple. So we kind of I'm trying to find that vanishing point, the point that everything comes out of. So around here, and then everything will be relying on that point. A little road here, and then the bushes. Trying to preserve those angles, but if they are slightly different, then the image doesn't matter. It's just as long as you keep your character. That's the most important to me. And kind of tree here just to give it a little bit of framing. Where is that tree going to be? Kind of starting up here. Just give it a rough idea. Can go quite gestury. Just rough idea. I'm not sure if I'm going to include that house there. Probably some sort of like a bush instead. And then there are some bushes here as we walk. And then in the distance there are a little bit of bushes as well. And it all connects here. So the main focus is to create that tree, but I want to avoid going very stiff. I want to create a little bit of here, a little bit of here, show that beautiful sort of structures of these what they call branches, and a little bit of plants greenery all over it. So we're going to start with watercolors. I'm just going to get rid of this pencil a little bit and then use my brush just to give a little hints of things. So I got here Tombow, and I just literally a few minutes ago tried to fill up my brush pen. This brush pen is a beautiful pen tool. It's got this it's like a brush basically, and I load it up. It's going to be very filthy now. I tried to fill up this with a syringe and it literally exploded. I have white worktops in the kitchen, stone floor, and literally I just tried to do it and it got stuck on an air bubble and it went everywhere. Massive amount of ink. So I'm not sure if I'm going to carry on that way again. That might be a different, I might invest in those bullets, or maybe get a syringe with a needle instead. Not sure, but yeah, it's working fine. It was worth it, worth all the hassle. So my fingers are now a very ugly black manicure, sorry. Doesn't always work out, guys. Doesn't always work out like we want to. So I'm just gonna go very gestured and hints of branches, and this is what I really like this brush pen for, to create that impression of a bit. Just a hint. Maybe a little bit of that road. And I don't want to make too much, so it's not too heavy. That's all the black I'm gonna have, I think. So when we have our structure here of the bushes, there's some fencing there as well. Okay. How are we going to cover that? I'm not too bothered about wiping out this pencil because it's going to get covered up anyway. The other thing you can do is use the pencil, the watercolor pencil. So it will melt away once you start putting your watercolors and other things. So again, in the last few times I've been using the size 10. I really like it. I don't like working too tight. Start nice and loose. I'm just waiting for this ink to dry a little bit more, but it goes quickly. The ink I'm using is my favorite platinum carbon ink, and it's great. It's got it's waterproof. It's very strong. Because with some inks, like for example this Winsor Newton, it's very watery. It's great for painting, but it's not going to kind of stay if I add another layers of watercolor. So I'm just going to prepare some paint for myself here on the side. There's a little bit of leftover kind of green in my palette, and I don't really mind. So I'm going dark. This is Perylane Green. I really like this shade. It's dark. And I'm not afraid to start with those dark bits, leaving a little bit of white here and there. So the problem I had on the last picture I done, I just made it too much, just been carried away without any breathing space, without anything left undone. It was just overdone and it all melted into one thing. So yeah, it's easy to overdo it, guys. It's probably easier than underdo it. That makes sense. It's better to leave it to breathe a little bit. And we got those light areas here. I need to make sure I remember about that as well. Where is that finishing? Okay, so that kind of fence with those plants here. try not to think about it too much, but still want to do a little bit of planning, a little bit, you know, thinking what I'm doing, not just mindlessly putting it down. And it's nice to use different shades of green. This is like a hint of something in the background. That I quite like that technique when you add it on just with watercolor without any line. And now I can do a little bit of that grey. Payne's grey and white gives you really nice shade of grey, and you can make it warmer. You can make it with adding a tiny bit of yellow. You make it warmer if it's a warm yellow. Again, I'm leaving some areas. We're gonna go with neocolors after that anyway, just to give it variation. Now I'm gonna go get a little bit of lighter green. So this sort of olive green mixed a bit of yellow, a little bit of white, make it super light, so we can hit those areas here at the end. Even more yellow. Just wash it out a bit. So today I went with my friend Helen to a really nice little cafe, tea house. Hard to call it because it was in a little village in Hayling Island, not far from here. You directly, if you sit outside, you directly look at the field with cows just grazing happily, and they were walking around and waving their tails. I don't know if that means they're happy, but they were munching away some sort of treats. And they were basically just wriggling their tails happily, sitting there. Obviously there was a fence, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting there. There's not, can be a bit scary with cows. They can be very protective, and there have been horrible incidents of people having problems with them. There's some kind of darkness here on the capture and the end of that path. As much as I love mixed media and making a lot of shapes with the you know, with those pens and pencils and stuff, I can get carried away sometimes and just mindlessly do too much mess and doesn't look good. So today I'm kind of keep an eye on what's going on, what's my system. Different shades of green, layers, 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 and then we're gonna do lovely layers with those pencils as well. Oh yeah, that's a bush. Make a little bit more here, and that's kind of fence. So maybe in red, of burnt sienna. Just a hint of it. Lovely. So this is our beginning. I'm gonna put some shadows here in a minute, and a little bit more adding to it. So let's make a little bit lighter green. This May green is super vivid, super like an apple green. It's a nice way to create sort of light effect because you still preserve that white, and if it mixes with that super bright green, gives you a nice effect of light shining through. Now we got this one we forgot about, so I need to, I've got this nice color mix still, trying to use the same sort of paint rather than mixing new colors, so it's got a nice harmony. Okay, let's get that May green. That is a very green, light green color here. That's on the bushes. Layer, layer, layer. Starting to pick up the shape. I'm keeping this sky for a bit later. I'm going to get rid of a pencil now. Probably should have done it before. Now it's going to just be messed up. Never mind. You can't predict everything. And let's just build a little bit more green, because it's all busy here with green. Otherwise that tree is going to look quite bare. So yeah, coming back with that coffee shop, it was lovely. We had a breakfast, the sun was shining with in the sunshine, because you know it's springtime in full swing now, but it's still a little bit cold. But sitting in the sunshine was nice. And then we came back home. Oh my goodness, all the grey clouds started gathering. I had to get changed from my summer dress. So I got changed and I'm sitting here now in my autumn clothes. It's crazy how quickly weather can change in UK. I know, I'm proper British now talking about weather. Okay, so we're gonna wait just a minute. It's nice that it is actually, isn't it? That delicate. But we're gonna add a little bit more details, a bit more with the color pencil, with neocolors, and make it more punchy where it should be, because it's a little bit too bleak at the moment. I had a little glimpse of hope that's going to be a postman to see me to deliver my new art supply, so I was going to show you, but it's not. So I was just sitting here and playing with this Tombow pen to create a slightly smaller branches, just a few of them, just to make a little movement. But again, I don't want to overdo it. It's kind of made me feel conscious that last lesson. I don't know. I have to get out of this perfectionist thing, because I'm trying to create really beautiful work so I can actually share it and make some progress and actually post it on my channel. But if I create terrible stuff, I don't want to really post it, so I feel pressure. So maybe sometimes I need to paint without intent of putting it even on any you know, channel or anything. There is a bit I need to do. I think that's going to be fine. This is Castle Arts watercolor pencils, and they are really good actually. I shared them in the last video that you never seen because I deleted it, so I'm saying again. I bought them in this pack of many in the wallet, and they're really good, decent pencils, and the price tag is good. They're way cheaper than you know, anything else that is well known, but they're good. Just creating a little bit of here, same color, making a bit of a shapes here. I like adding that because it adds a little bit of definition, otherwise it's just a washout underpainting, so it's good. Let's see if we can add color. No, I think on that ink, once that sits on that ink, that's it. You can add a little bit more in between, trick the eye a bit. And adding different shades of green. Is that going to annoy me now? That's the beauty of a cheap picnic table. It's not really that stable. I'm trying to observe different sort of shapes on that tree rather than just individual leaves. It is difficult. I don't know if I'll achieve what I wanted. I'm trying. That's supposed to be our imaginary bush. Has it got darkness? That one does. So adding that dark areas helps to make it more realistic. If you only have highlights, that's not going to be a good look. And I have to really keep an eye not to be too regimented, too tight, too samey when I create those sort of shapes. It's easy to then make such a clump of samey stuff. I'm just looking where the highlights are, where the shadows are, and just playing with those shapes rather than just obvious things. It's quite dark here. Then we're going to make those shadows here. So what should we use? I'm going to go darker than that, but just to start. I'm just taking my neocolor and starting to lay them here a slightly darker grey around here. I try not to comment everything because then my brain has to kind of switch off from doing it and I lose track. So I'm just going to work in silence a little bit and you can see what I'm doing anyway. So I'm not going to be repeating myself. It's going to be boring for you. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm glad I kept that back very delicate like this. That was a good idea. Let's experiment a little bit with this color to create kind of shadows in some places, because I want to play with cool shadows and warm highlights to create this beautiful effect. Let's see how that goes. That might be complete disaster, but it could be a real success. If you don't try, you don't know. Obviously. Quite like it. Oops. Sorry, I'm making so much mess with those. So focuses, that looks good. I want a darker green, almost like black. That's not it. Okay, black, this is black. More green. This tree needs a little bit of punch. Look how I hold my pencil. I don't know if I like it or not. I might have already done it again. It's going to be tricky to go over this neocolors now. Just carry on. It feels like I haven't have enough dark areas. So let's experiment again and take this Inktense Derwent blocks and just add a little bit of a dark places, bits and bobs, to create that depth. It's a bit of a mess now. And we can take a brush and maybe blend it a little bit in some places. There is that stage and mixed media painting where you think, oh my goodness, it's just ugly stage, and it's important to get out of it, of course, but you need to be patient, because sometimes, you know, you can really get into interesting bits. I really like how that looks now. It was a good idea to work with my Inktense. Let's use this one, like an ochre. Add on a bit. That looks so much better when I went over with this. I would like to create a sky with blue, so I'm going to use this. I'm usually using watercolor to create sky, but this time I'm gonna do that. I decided that Friday I do spend at least kind of hour and a half experimenting, so it doesn't matter if things don't work out. This is time to do tests and have a little play. So, you know, if it doesn't work out, no big deal. And allowing yourself mistakes, allowing yourself make that is a good idea. Because because if you don't, you never make progress, you never move on. Oh, I like that actually here. Let's give it a little bit more texture with that grass. Very, very, very gentle with that pencil. Again, I'm going to go with water here, I think, just to make those shadows a bit more. Does it look like a shadow? Hopefully. Needs almost like something darker. Have I got darker grey? I do. Let's see how it works like when we put it on the wet. Cool, I like it. And it kind of stretches here, but the shadow is not as intensive here. So, like that. Do we want to smudge that sky with our brush? We do, because we want to see what it looks like. Oh no, I think it went underneath my tape. I haven't squashed it enough. Okay, I think I like it. Yeah, it's good. Let's just fix that bush here. Very undefined. I'm going to double up. That's cool. So it's not too intensive. Uh-oh, that's kind of reacted with that ink. It's supposed to be waterproof, but you know, if you put too much water, it will sort of react. Putting a little wash here, watercolor. And let's do something with that trunk here, because it is very much white. It's like a highlight, warm, highlight, warm. Like that. Got hot highlights here, bit of highlights here, which we can do now. Highlights here. This is a bit mess and undefined, so a bit more green. Oh, I like that now. And a bit of highlights. Is there anything else I can improve? I could maybe, oh, if only that parcel arrived now, that will be amazing, because it has those green Posca bits. It's a shame. Unless I mix up a little bit of gouache. I've got this gouache here, white. And if I use that with a very small little pen, I add a little bit of green from watercolor to tint that with the warmth. Ah, it's a messy business. Okay, it's quite yellow now, but that's fine. A little bit of green. Right, that might be the right shade for us. And just kind of adding a little bit here and there. So if I don't have Posca in every possible colour, it's not end of the world. Because I can just put a little bit of gouache over gouache or acrylic. If I was very, you know, you can put acrylic as well and mix any colour you like, which is good. I got a feeling I'm gonna start painting more in gouache soon anyway, to do a bit more gouache and watercolour, just practicing that way. Sometimes you just need to spend enough time with it and give it a chance a little longer than you think. I know I'm contradicting myself because I try to say don't overwork things, but in this instance it's worth to spend a little bit more with it and practicing, experimenting a little bit more. Let's add a little bit more yellow with it. I'll use a different brush to pick up yellow, otherwise everything will be very dirty. And that lovely gouache. Oh, I think my supplies just arrived. Let's have a look. Okay, false alarm. That was not my art supplies, unfortunately. But it's okay. I need to mix it with a little bit of a very light green because it's too yellow. It's quite nice that you can tint that original gouache with different shades, like white. Oh, I'm messing up my watercolours now, but never mind, I'll tidy up them later. Oh my gosh, panic. That was a bit too much. My brush is way too big. I need tiny little touches here and there. Again, not to make them too predictable, too like tight. It's the hardest thing. Just building those highlights here and there. It would be nice to find some sort of mark making device to make that, because the brush doesn't give me enough interesting control. And I feel like I need a darker green mixed with blue to make those kind of darker areas. Again, I think I made a bit of hot mess there with that tree. I need to step away from it and look. It's not what I intended, but you know, it's alright for practice. Let's put it with darker here. And again, you could fiddle, you could do it over and over and over, but I think I'm going to let it dry at this point. I will take off, wait, because I think this is a bit undefined here. Let's take those edges off and see how that looks without that. You know, sometimes I'm very happy with the result, but most of the time I'm like this, like, okay, I'll fix that in the future. I'll make that different. Oh no, look at that. That just rips half of my page. I hate this masking tape. I really need to invest in this low tack one because it's just ruined now. Thank God I'm not doing any commissions or anything like that, because that will be just ruined. I like there's too much of a gap here. Okay, that's better. Tiny difference. So there we go. You'll need to completely dry, but that's pretty much the end result. it was fun. Maybe I could do a little bit of course. I'm going to fasten and mess it up. Panic. That's panic, guys. I need to step away from it and that will be it. But this is pretty much done and I'm glad I turned up today. I quite like how this looks, that bit. I am happy with those blue, light blue shadows here. Maybe that could be in a hot highlight. You know, you can still assess things and come back to them, but trees are not my forte. I need to sit down and work on sketches and see how they constructed, spend a little bit of time on it rather than just blob things together. But you know, as a practice, that's good, and you always learn something new. I definitely like the shadows being so dark. This shade is cold blue, which is ultramarine blue, and a warm peachy colors. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again, and please leave a comment if you would like to say anything, and I'll see you next time.